everybody, how you all doing? Welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be on the new L'Oreal nude palettes. I did pick up number 1 and 2 to show you. I'm just gonna say right off the bat that these really surprised me. I do really love L'Oreal Infallible shadows. I'm not the biggest fan of their, their quads and trios and things like that. But these are really great. I was so surprised. I'm wearing number 2 now on my eyes, and I just have to say that they're really pigmented. The mattes aren't chalky. They're kind of buttery and creamy. But what really surprised me, which I have trouble from the drugstore finding shades that actually blend out, these actually blended out so nicely. It kind of reminded me of the Wet n Wild Fergie palette, how they blend out, but I want to say these even blend out a little bit better than these, which I thought from the drugstore it doesn't really get much better than the Wet n Wild, which I love this palette so much. If you guys watch my videos, you know that I had a rave review on these. So if I had to recommend a palette from the drugstore, I would definitely go with the L'Oreal or the Fergie palette, the nude one anyways. The Maybelline one was kind of a miss for me. Yeah, you can get a pretty look with it, but it doesn't really blend out all that well. You kind of have to work at it. These, they kind of just blend out on their own. Obviously you have to blend them out, but you know what I'm saying? They just blend out so easily, which is really appreciated by me because I'm always in a hurry, and I like to get that seamless look, especially if I'm doing like a smoky eye. Like I want it to look blended, because if your eyeshadow is not blended, it looks bad. Here's the first palette I'll show you. This is called La Palette Nude 1, and this reminds me of the Urban Decay Naked 1 palette. I mean, just looking at the shades, you can tell there's a lot of similarities. I'm not going to compare them, but I can tell just by looking at them. They're very similar. You got your browns, neutral browns, you got a gold, a bronze, a deeper bronze, kind of like a pewter shade. I'll be doing swatches here in a little bit. You get 10 shades, and I paid $15.84 a piece for these. Not to mention the brush it came with. At first glance, like, it looks like something chintzy that I won't really use. But if you do like sponge tip applicators, which I do like this. It's kind of, it feels like a more sturdy. It's not like a super cheap one like you find in the Wet n Wild palettes. Then on the other end, you get like a kind of, it's really tiny, and it's kind of like a flat shader brush, but I mean, it is really tiny. But you know what? I used it for this look, and I just kind of put one of the deeper shades here in the crease, and I really like that to get that really defined deep dark crease. The next palette is called La Palette Nude 2. This is the palette I'm wearing. This is number 2. This is the one that's kind of like the Urban Decay 3, but then again, it's kind of its own palette, because looking at these, I can't really pinpoint, an exact dupe to the Naked 3 palette. Well, it's kind of maybe a mix between the Naked 2 and 3, but like I said, I can't really pinpoint any exact dupe, so it is kind of like its own palette. Just the shades, like the shade range and tones, are similar. And what's really nice too, they do give you a mirror. It's kind of skinny, but you know what? It's big enough to see what you're doing. It's not like one of those small mirrors that is just impractical and you're not going to get any use out of it. So I did use the mirror while I was applying these, and it works great. It is big enough for that. So now that I've blabbed on enough about these, you guys know that I like them. They're smooth, creamy, and they blend like a dream. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys swatches. I'm going to start with the nude palette first. Alright guys, so here we have Nude 1 swatch. I'm not going to go through each and every shade, but you can see they're really pigmented. I do not have a primer or anything on my skin. This is just the shadows as they are. I started from the top of the palette and then worked my way down. You can see there's mattes, there's satins, there's shimmers, so you get all different kinds of finishes. And not to mention, if some of the shades don't look like they're showing up, it's just because they're close to my skin tone. Here we have the Nude 2 palette swatch. I will be zooming in closer in a minute, but I mean, from even this far away, you can see how pigmented they are and how rich. The matte shades are creamy, the shimmery shades are creamy. I can't say enough about these palettes. They are amazing for only $15. A hard time right now believing these are from L'Oreal. Not that L'Oreal doesn't put out good products, but I was kind of thinking they were going to be a little bit more like the Maybelline palette, and these blow the Maybelline palette away. They're so good. And one thing I wanted to mention really quick, if you don't have this Tarte Amazonian Clay palette, which I love, it's an all matte palette, there are so many close, I don't know if they're dupes yet because I haven't swatched them side by side yet, but just by looking at them, you don't need this palette. If you're not a collector, don't waste your money on this. I mean, it is great, but if you're looking to save money, between these two palettes, you're gonna get almost the exact same shades. Let me swatch a few just so we can see here together. Let's go in, I'm gonna go in with this Purple Row on the Tarte and just kind of see how they compare. They're probably not going to be exact, but if they're close, I mean, once they're on the eyes, you know, they're all going to look beautiful and similar. So let's just go ahead and see. So I swatched these two deepest shades from Tarte, and then I'm going to take the number 2 palette from L'Oreal. I'm going to do these two deeper shades that are kind of in the same tone range, and we'll see how it goes. Dead on dupe. So I just swiped the L'Oreal shadow right into the Tarte. The Tarte's here, the L'Oreal's here, and it is a dead on dupe. And I have to say, it seems like the L'Oreal shadows have a little bit more pigmentation than these Tarte shadows. Just a little bit, not a big deal. I mean, how much pigmentation do we really need to make a pretty eye look? Not that much, because we can keep building up if it's not that strong. Anyways, I go in with the deepest shade. I'm just gonna swatch it right here next to the Tarte. Oh my gosh, you guys. Dead on dupe. I'll zoom in closer in a minute, but you cannot tell one shadow from the next. I'm on a roll here with these dupes, like exact dupes so far. This is crazy because I didn't even plan on doing this. As I was just looking at these, it just reminded me of this palette. So the next shade I'm going to try to dupe is Natural Beauty, and we're still in the purple tone row in the Tarte palette. I'm just going to swatch that right here. And then I'm going to go in with the number 2 L'Oreal palette. I'm going to swatch the 3rd shade over, and we'll see how that goes. Yep, that's definitely a dupe too. If any, these two are off more than these, but barely on the eyes. You would not be able to tell. I'm going to zoom in so you can see. On this side we have the Tarte, and on this side we have the L'Oreal. Can you guys tell the difference? Because I can't. In fact, I'm not even sure if this is the Tarte side anymore. I don't know. Anyways, just saying they're a dupe. So I could keep going on with the dupes in this palette. The only shade that I could not dupe is this black one, because there isn't a black in the Nude 1 or Nude 2, which is fine because the colors are so pretty. Sorry guys, my phone is going off. But take a look at this shade here in the Nude 1 palette, and then this shade right here, another dupe. Like, I could dupe out this whole palette. I might do a second video on this. Let me know if you guys want to see that. If not, I'm not going to worry about it because it's already out there. I don't have anything bad to say about these. I love them both. Once again, they're $15.84, at least where I live they are. You get 10 shades. You get lots of different varieties. There's no really metallic shades, but you do get some really pretty shimmery ones. So in the Nude 2 palette, you get 6 matte shades. The rest are kind of satin shimmery shades. And then in the Nude, I keep wanting to say Naked. Anyways, in the Nude 1, you get 3 matte shades, and the rest are kind of satin shimmery shades. So you're getting so many different options. I mean, if you pick up these two, you have like looks for days, years, months, whatever. And like I said earlier, if they didn't have like a name L'Oreal on it, if they had something like Stila or Tarte or, you know, just a different high-end name on these, I wouldn't think any different. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't. You can't tell. I'm gonna stop telling you guys how wonderful and great they are. Don't take my word for it. Like, pick yourself up one and you'll see for yourself how great they are. And like I said, they are like, you almost get every shade from the Tarte Amazonian Clay matte palette in these. So if you don't want to spend the money on this, like, you get more shades in here and a more variety, but you do get several dupes. Like I said, I might do a separate video because I could probably dupe out this whole palette minus the black shade. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys, and have an awesome day.